For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. We have become a society, and I almost should say society has become, because I am excluding myself from this, as you'll hear about in the next 30 minutes, but society has become so needy for likes and clicks and comments, and you know, you post a photo on Facebook or Instagram and you just wait to see how many likes you get. Who you know, oh my god, somebody liked it right away within a minute of posting. Oh, 2 people liked it within 2 minutes of posting. 3 people, 5 people, 10 people. And then there's this depression if it only got 5 likes. Oh my god. Oh, people don't like me. Oh, I've got to come up with something better. And so nowadays everybody is a content creator, and I'm here to tell you, not everybody's a content creator. That's coming up on The Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. I have made no secret on this show, on my radio shows, in my newspaper columns, in my, you know, wherever else you hear or see my rants, that I have no interest in social media. And it's not until recently that I spend a few minutes once a week. Truthfully, people, I had gone weeks without posting on Facebook, and this is the thing, is that people probably didn't even notice, and I'm fine with that. You have to remember that I have been a paid content creator, and I hate that term now just because basically everybody who has a Facebook page is considered I have a cousin who she's a content creator. I'm like, well, that's just a glorified title. It just, you know, everybody is. Technically, everybody's a content creator on Facebook. You're posting something of a picture you took or whatever it is, you're a content creator. And so truthfully, when it comes to logging into Facebook, I legitimately, you know, everybody always says, I don't even open Facebook. No, I really go weeks without even opening the app and scrolling the feed because, and again, I don't think that anybody has an interest in what I'm doing 24/7. I have no interest in what you are doing 24/7. And that's just fine. It doesn't make me feel bad about my life. It doesn't make me feel good about it. It doesn't make me feel like, you have to remember that for much of my career, I was being paid to go on vacation. So everybody who has saved up a shit ton of money to go and do a vacation with their, you know, partner or their family or whatever, I was getting paid to go and do that. And, you know, so it's not like I was, you know, bragging to you. It was my job. And, you know, was it a perk to get paid to go on vacation? Yeah, sure. But I wasn't posting the content to rub it in everybody's face and make them feel like they should, I don't know, feel shitty that they're still at home or they're at work or something this week while I'm off on the because at the end of the day, I always sit and look at those people and go, well, you're actually not enjoying your vacation because your thought is back home and your audience of people who are, you know, you want to impress them with these pictures and pictures of your food and the sunset and the beach and whatever. Anytime I see somebody on a beach, and it could be, you know, let's say it's me and I'm taking a picture of my husband. If I see the picture of my husband on the beach and he's clutching his phone, then we're not enjoying the vacation for what it is. We're not living in that moment. And so I've always laughed at people like that. Like if I see that, if you're on like the beach is your time away. I mean, like fine, you take a picture or two or whatever. But if you're taking a picture of somebody and they're holding their phone too, let it, like, it's a beach, everybody. I'm worried about people that are doing that because, I mean, no, I'm not worried. I mean, I laugh, right? It's funny to me. But that's where I just go and say, yeah, that's, maybe you're trying to like show off and look cool and be, but at the end of the day, you're still thinking about like creating that content and entertaining and dancing like a monkey for the audience, entertaining the audience. I've gone with my husband on, secret trips to other countries and other beaches, and it's just for us. And that's why, I mean, we enjoy it more then because they're stories that are just between us. They're memories, they're moments. I mean, have I told the story about my wedding? I think we went to I was going to say Caribbean destination. We went to a tropical destination to get married. There was no family, no friends. Truthfully, there were only, I think, 2 or 3 people that knew what was going on. My assistant, because she kind of had to help. Our insurance person, because I being the star of our company's radio shows, we had quite an obligation with 40. Or no, not that, we were on 20 something radio stations with like 300,000 listeners. If Jeremy goes down, our insurance company is like, shit, right? So, there is some obligation to let key people know, but my family did not know. His family did not know. And his family's in Brazil, and we were actually kind of in between Canada and Brazil. I'll say that much. And that was kind of the excitement about it, was we're going to get married. We went on a private plane. We took our dogs. There was not an entourage of people. There was no best man. There was no, whatever. Because it was meant to be just for us. And I should maybe kind of take a step back in the story and say, like, in my family, I've never been a star in the family. Everybody else got married early, had kids. I think almost only one of my cousins, he's older, he's the only one that's not married and doesn't have kids. But I think I'm playing this out in my head. I'm thinking my mom's side and my dad's side, and we've got 2 really big families. But I'm fairly certain, yeah, everybody has kids. And so that was kind of how you got attention in our family when we were growing up, or at least in your 20s, was your wedding. Well, I guess it would be your wedding shower, then your wedding, then your baby shower, and then a baby christening or something that people had. So you had all these moments where you kind of went back into the spotlight every couple years based on what was happening in your life. Well, I didn't do any of that. I didn't have a marriage when I was in my 20s or even early 30s. I didn't have kids. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. I was always, for the most part, single, going to all these family events and things. So I was always just kind of known as the single guy. And I knew that my wedding would not be about me anyway, because I'm just not a key player in our family. And I'm not even saying that to be, depressed and all. That's just how it is, and I'm fine with that. I don't need the attention from the family that I'm not super close with anyway. And so to me, I didn't think like people are going to be disappointed that they weren't invited to Jeremy's wedding, because it's just, I wouldn't be the star of my own wedding anyway. I'm the bride. You always hear about those people that have that freak out. Well, I was kind of like, well, nobody celebrates me anyway for my career accomplishments. You have to realize, like, in my family, I was the first sort of entrepreneur who kind of went out on their own. Now everybody has their little side gig of selling, Tupperware or whatever the hell they do. And it's entrepreneurial to a point. I was the first one to say, I'm not going to have a boss. I'm going to, do this. And look I made a media company, and the rest is history after all that time. So for us, for me, that was kind of my dream wedding. You always hear about, teenage girls back when I was in school would get those wedding magazines, and they'd have their dress picked out, and they were ready to settle down very early on, and they dream about their wedding, and they figure out, the venue or whatever the details are, or where it's going to be, if it's going to be a destination wedding. And so for me, it was kind of like, we're not churchy in the first, well, my husband sort of is, but he's out of it now, but we're not like that. So it's not like we're going to have a big church ceremony. And secondly, again, we have a very private life. We just, he's been around for 7 or 8 years now, so it's not like my family doesn't know him, or I'm not in the closet. It's not like people have not met him. They have, but we kind of take that step back. We don't go to the nephew's, hockey games and things like that. I mean, we sort of did at the very beginning when my husband first came around because he had never seen hockey and things like that. So being from Brazil. And we kind of did that, and it was sort of fun, and the novelty of him coming to the first, nephew's birthdays or Christmas or whatever it was. It's kind of fun because, all eyes are on me. And he's a hot Brazilian bodybuilder, tattooed and tanned and whatever. So, he gets a lot of attention, even in my own family. But for our wedding, it was kind of like, this is going to be just for us. People aren't going to, even at our wedding, people would probably still just be sitting and talking amongst themselves and laughing and giggling and watching their kids running around and doing whatever. Like the focus wouldn't be on me. And if there's one time that you're going to be selfish and demand attention, it's going to be at your own wedding. Am I right? So that's something that I had said even when I was in my 20s and single, was like, my wedding is going to be just me and him, just me and my groom, just me and my, partner, my husband. And it was sort of weird, right? Because you almost have to convince your partner of that as well. They, being from Brazil, they've got a different culture, and weddings are different, just as they would be in Mexico or somewhere in Europe or whatever. And we're having to blend that, and it's tough to go and say, look, we're going to get married, but nobody's invited. It's just going to be us. There's nobody around. And after being in my family for a while, he was kind of like, yeah, you know what, I get it. It's not going to be about you or even us. He's not going to expect the family to come over and, sit and talk with him, and just as nobody would do that with me either. So it was an easy sell at some point to go and say, look, let's just do this. It's on our own. We're not going to have the big ceremony. We're going to have somebody to marry us there. And because I was on the radio at the time and we were working with tourism boards and we were able to basically, this is going to sound braggy again, but we were able to, at any point, just sort of pick up a phone or send an email to a tourism board and say, look, we want to do programming because this is what we're doing. We have a huge, remember this is before like influencers took over the world. And we had an audience, we had a reputation of producing travel content. It wasn't just like, I'm going to post pictures of food. No, we were actually we were doing interviews with places, we were doing full pages of content online, interviews, audio segments, videos, whatever. And so it was really easy for us to go and say, okay, look, let's kind of research and find out what would be a good place that's obviously welcoming of the gay community. And, what tourism board have we not worked with that we can sort of go and say, look, let's put this on. It's just going to be for us. We're not going to get promotion out of it. You're going to welcome this. It's going to be a great story. We will take photos just for us that, again, we're not going to be like glued to our phones the entire time. And there's minimal photography, truthfully. So we got on a private plane. We ended up flying, to the other, I was going to say the other hemisphere. I'm trying to think now if it was technically. And it was just something for us. We had a local person officiate. We met with the tourism board when we got there because they had sort of planned, the gist of it or the majority of it. And I'm not one of those people who comes with a big list of demands. And, as long as I had a bathtub or somewhere that's my zone, I was fine. But it's going to be a wedding on the beach. Our dogs are going to be there. They're going to have, their little tuxedo sort of outfits. We're going to have a string quartet. The first song that we're going to dance to once we get married is Faith Hill's This Kiss, because that was just my song as I think I was 13 years old when it came out, and it was always just wonderful. I loved it. All-time favorite song. Husband had never heard it before. We played it the very first night that we ever met in person once he, flew to Canada. Just the backstory is he heard me on the radio, and so we had corresponded for several months, and then he added me on Facebook, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is this guy. Now we're talking every day, we're having video chats, and that's sort of how the relationship progressed. And so one of the first things that I'd said to him even before he came to Canada was, you need to learn the lyrics to this song, and we're going to sing it the first night that we're together in my house. And we did, in the kitchen. It was quite a moment. So, yeah, the string quartet is going to know that song. There's going to be a couple other ones that, that he likes and that I like. They're going to know it. We're going to have a meal of whatever it was. See, I'm trying to be very, very limited in what I say because it was just that pact that we had between the two of us, that this is just a moment for us. Nobody has seen the photos from it. I guess my assistant has seen a few of them just because she's in possession of my phone a lot of the time. So, it just happens to come up. So our meal was, private. We haven't really talked about even, where we stayed and where it was and what it was, but it was very lavish. It was very nice. And the reason why it's even more special for us is because it's just between the two of us, that nobody, it's not like we went and posted everything on Facebook. Nobody, like I said, to this day, my mother, my father, his parents, I actually paused there again because I'm like, maybe he's told them, I don't know, but nobody's going to know about it. Nobody will know. Maybe once, if he, years down the road, of course, I don't want to say that, make it sound like he's dying or he's going to get killed. But, I'm thinking maybe when I'm 80 and if he goes before I do, that I will go and say, well, you know what, where we went to here. But no, it's just that's just something that we did. And again, it's maybe sounds like something weird because your marriage is supposed to be about your friends and family celebrating, but that's fine. We could do that very well if we want to and have a little get together with, some friends or whoever. But at that point, we said that's what we're going to do. So while that's a really long story, they're already wrapping me up and I haven't even really got to the point of it. But so the social media thing, what I'm saying is that people will be content creators, and when I scroll and I see these stupid videos of couples, pranking each other or dancing, and I go, this is what entertainment is nowadays. It's so very sad to me because I don't get, there was another one that I just saw the other day. There's this girl, she's sitting on the toilet. She's not going to the bathroom. She's just, the lid is down. She's sitting on the toilet, and the boyfriend or whatever is in the shower, and the caption is her reaction the first time I showed her, and then there's the eggplant emoji. And so it's just very badly acted because she's sitting there and they're talking and it's small talk, whatever, and he has the towel on and all of a sudden he faces her, he's not facing the camera, and he opens the towel and her reaction, the eyes are open and she's just in shock, and it's just so phony. And you have these people that are commenting as though they believe it, that they believe that this is real, and I'm just looking at this going, this is entertaining. This is, people make this content. People make this content because others are eating it up. And you can't lie that they've got 300,000 followers or 400,000 followers and there's thousands of comments. But that's now where I refuse. This is where I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because here I am creating content that you're listening to right now. But this is where I refuse to sort of jump into that fray. When people ask me if I would host another radio show or, why not start a YouTube channel because now I'm just one of them, right? It's just it's a sea of content. And I have no interest in stooping to doing shit like that. If you think about it, that would be my husband and I going to our basement and setting up the camera and just doing the Macarena in silly outfits. Yes, people would comment and like it, but I have no interest in no, I don't want to be a dancing monkey for people based on, and it also too, it sort of pisses me off because I think about the 15 years that we were producing radio shows. And it was just me for the first 5 years or first 3 or 4 years anyway, that, you had sort of this level of quality where, as you're building up this momentum and your show is, getting more clout in the industry and in broadcasting and amongst the celebrity world, we ended up becoming picky where it's well, we're not going to have that person. They're not a big enough celebrity for us anymore because we've kind of elevated to this new status. And, we would turn down interviews. We'd have publicists pitching us different things left, right, and center. And do you want to do this? Do you want this person? And we would have to go and say, yeah, we're kind of above that now. And, we had such standards where it's we can't give people less than that because we've already set that bar that this is what we're going to give people. So how do we now go and do, stupid pranks and here, watch my husband and I, jump rope in our backyard with our dogs or here we're so when I scroll Instagram or Facebook for the few seconds or few minutes that I do in a week, it makes me want to post something and just say, not everybody's a content creator, and that's okay. That's okay. And it's an opinion that I had years ago in my newspaper column where I just said, like, the world was better when not everybody had a platform to be seen and heard. Because you had to be in the newspaper or on TV or on the radio, you had to have, there was just this level of, I don't know if the word is professionalism or just, you just had to have something because you wouldn't get airtime on the radio. You wouldn't get space in the newspaper. You just kind of had to have that. Is it oomph? Is that the term? You just had to have this oomph about yourself. And now, because people have sidestepped that channel of television or radio or newspaper, because now they can just be their own platform on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snap, whatever it is, that we've just sort of lost that oomph. I'm going to go back to that word, that oomph. And to me, it's just sad. So back to, I mentioned about my cousin who's a content creator, and I scroll and she's on Facebook Live and she just props the camera up in the kitchen and we're watching her like dig through the fridge. Yay. 19 minutes. She's just on Facebook Live digging through a fridge. Okie dokie. And then she starts to make food and she checks back to the camera. She's squinting at the camera. Did anybody comment? Did anybody like? And, she's a mom. She's got kids. And I just go, wow, this is her focus. When either the kids go to school or the kids are napping or whatever, this is what she's doing. And the sad part, and this isn't necessarily a knock on her because she's producing it because people are watching and people are commenting. And I'm just amazed by it. I'm amazed by it. It's strange to me. I have no interest in dancing around like a fool and making videos because I feel that it doesn't make us look cute. We're a cute couple together. If you go on my Instagram page, you'll see, we're not ugly. We're not dogs. But it's, there's less and less now. And he was posting all the time, especially like when he was single and he was on his own in Brazil, because there was that attention. And even now he's sort of, he's 30, he's in his mid 30s, but he's even kind of like, you get your likes and that's about it. I mean, because I think what ends, we're going to take a break. All right, we're going to wrap it up. But I guess, well, I'll take a break. I'm going to continue on this rant, take a break. We'll be back on the Scribble right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here on the Scribble in our final remaining moments already, even though that was one of our first breaks there on the show. I was talking about social media and how my cousin is a content creator, and so she's, but at the same time, you also have these people that are posting all about just all this love, these whimsical love is the heartbeat of what, it's just like, those things make me want to throw up. Now, here's my opinion on that, is I don't believe that those people actually have love in their life. I don't. Because if you did, you would be living the love. Do you get what I'm saying here? You wouldn't be dreaming about, that would be like I said about those girls that had planned their wedding and dreams about it, and their brides dresses and their bridesmaids dresses and blah 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 blah. That means that you want love. That's what you're hoping for, because same thing, like for me, I've got dogs. We have 2 dogs. I love them, but I'm not posting every 2 days about how dogs make the world go round. Dogs are love. Dogs are this. Dogs are that. I mean, I guess I would believe that if I'm posting all the time, but I don't know. And it's the same thing when people like post these motivational quotes and things on their page. I guess it's to inspire others, but then I'm sitting here going, I don't know how motivated you are though. Like maybe that kind of got you through the day, but at the same time, I don't know. We don't have those things in our house. We don't have the home is love, love is home. Love. I've never understood that. I've never needed these self-promoted, or not self, like these self-induced pep rallies. I've just never had that. And I realize that if you have a shitty job or a shitty life, that you might need that before you walk out the door and go to work for the day. But I don't know. But the people who post about how just love is grand, I just kind of think, I don't know that you're in love. Because you wouldn't be, because you're living it, you're experiencing it. If I'm in love, that's great. I don't need to tell everybody every 2 days about how like I'm the first person who've ever experienced love, is that it's a new concept. And so it's weird to me. And it's the same thing like when you watch The Bachelor and Bachelorette, and it's just like this, I get the tingly feeling when I'm with you. Fuck off already. That's not what people, we watched because Bachelor is back on now, and there was, I can't remember, shit, what did they say? She said, the woman, one of the contestants said that she got, was it full body chills when she heard that the dude was going to be the Bachelor. And it's just so gross, because that doesn't happen. That's not real. That's not real. Even like the first time that I met my husband in person at the airport, but after all those months or years of corresponding back and forth, first of all with email and then video chatting, even then, but to know that like somebody was picked as the lead on a reality show, that gave you full body chills. I think that's not saying something about the dude. That's saying something about your life and how sad it is. Really. I mean, and it's the same thing about people who, when I travel for work, my husband travels and goes and does a video shoot, or not video shoot, a photo shoot. We'll be apart for, days or weeks, but I don't know. I don't feel the need to go and be like, miss you, babe, miss you so much, miss you, can't wait to hold you again. I hate when I see people post things like that too. Because it's attention seeking, and like you need to find that strength within yourself. What's that Whitney Houston song, The Greatest Love of All? Is happening to me, the greatest love of all. It's inside of me. It's not, I don't feel more special because my husband said I look good today. In fact, I hate when people will say, good job on something that I wrote, or like just because it's like, well, I know I'm a good writer, and I don't care. I don't care that these shoes or whatever or my hairstyle today looks good, because I've never been that type of person to dress to impress. And so I had one of my colleagues say, she's married 20 something years, and we had this almost an argument one day where she's like, come on, you don't want Charles to tell you look good? It doesn't make you feel better? And I said, not really, because I know that I don't need a man to tell me I look good to feel like I look good. I just don't. I don't know. And that's where people go and say, well, that's sad. Oh, not really. That just means I am fine how I am. I don't need somebody to give me this reassurance that I look okay today. I have confidence and self-esteem, and that's good enough for me. I just don't. I don't know. And I think maybe the society has become a little bit too dependent on what people say and needing that feedback and reaction from things, that we've sort of lost our way in having our own confidence and our own, I don't know. If she's the same person who said to me, like, well, what if I said I didn't like your book? I don't fucking care. It's still paid for my house. With this, like, it doesn't matter to me if you like it or not. You bought it. We got your money. Great. There you go. So we got a quick break. We're out of time already. We'll be back on the Scribble right after this.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. Send me an email. Tell me what your thoughts are on this commentary today. The email address is live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com, because anytime I criticize people posting on social media or relationships, I hear about it. And we'll talk about it next week. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some